So I'm up late, scrolling on my cell phone, looking at TikTok. I'm looking at, like shopping. I'm looking at different websites, looking at, things that I might potentially want to buy. I have to be honest. So let's make this more realistic so you don't think that it's just talk behind this video and no human behind the video. It ain't a bot, because I know some people say, "Oh, it's just a bot." No. So I'm looking and I see this post, and this young lady, she posted ice. And a lot of times when they post videos of ice is like shooting somebody, or they're about to shoot somebody, or people are protesting against them. There's like these squabbles between the protesters and ICE. But this video went altogether different, and I don't think it has a lot of press coverage in the US of A, because everybody's supposed to be so scared of ICE out here. But those people out there, mind you, at the Winter Olympics, a protest over cost and ice, it ends in clash with the police. So the video I saw was the people of that country out there, and I believe it's Italian people, and ICE was getting their asses whooped and handed to them on a platter. And if this is anything like this, I don't know what this one right here is. This I just clicked on one article, and it was saying forbidden, that you can't go to the article because they don't want you to post. They don't want you to show what's going on. So from the video, what the lady had explained, she said that our president, or supposedly our president of the US of A currently, which he ain't my president. He might be the MAGA's president and all these other folks, but he ain't what I elected, because I didn't elect him. Somehow this administration has sent ICE out there for whatever the reason. I don't know, but I guess this article might go a little more in detail over some of the reasons that are going on out there. But our media has not really said much about this. And I think they want us to be afraid out here, because censorship is everything, right? Because it closes people off, so you're socially engineered to assume that this group of folks is to be feared. But not over there. So it says at the Winter Olympic, a protest over the cost and ice ends in clash with the police. So this is the videos. This is just a still picture of what you're seeing here. So it's at the Winter Olympics. There's a protest over the cost and ice. It ends with clash with the police. So those people out there, they were no joke. They weren't afraid to get busy. So Milan, police clash with a breakaway group of anti-Olympics protesters on Saturday, deploying water cannons, detaining at least 7 people following a march by several thousands a day after the opening ceremonies of 2026 Winter Games in Italy. So I was right, they're Italian people. Let me tell you, those Italians don't play. They was kicking asses and taking names. Do you hear me? Milan police said riot officers responded after several protesters set off fireworks, hurled bottles towards the end of a peaceful demonstration by Olympics opponents from a cross-section of a left-wing group, which have complained about the cost and environmental impacts. So the melee underscored the opposition of a small but vocal segment of protesters as the Winter Games unfolded, with passions also inflamed by revelations late last month that agents from the U.S. Immigration and Customs Enforcement were being sent to Italy on a routine deployment to assist with the Olympic security. Now, those people are not in the dark, and The whole world has been watching what has been going on in the US of A with these ICE agents, and a lot of people that are here that have family members in other countries have been watching, and they see how crazy it is. So a lot of their families have been impacted by all of this. Them people wasn't playing. So it says on Saturday, thousands of protesters shouting slogans and holding signs including ICE out and defend Minneapolis. They gathered at the Milan Pizzales Medagali de Oro for a march that was intended to end in the vicinity on the main Olympic Village. Okay? Ahead of the games, including before Friday's opening ceremonies, protesters had rallied against the environmental impact and the cost of the Olympics, as well as the ICE presence. Why are they there? So politics tinged Friday ceremony when Vice President J.D. Vance received a round of boos at the San Siro Stadium after being shown on a big screen. So Italy's Corriere della Sera newspaper reported that he was booed again on Saturday while leaving a women's hockey match between the US and Finland as jeers erupted from a part of the arena mainly filled with American flags. So Italian media reported that Vance, J.D. Vance by the way, on Saturday received a private tour of the Leonardo da Vinci's The Last Supper and the museum where it was located in the refectory of the Church of Santa Maria delle Grazie, and it was closed to the public. But look at this still frame right here. Anti-Olympics demonstrators clashed with police in the main Milan on Saturday. So this is what happened, and it didn't get much press coverage. You guys are not seeing what people ain't gonna go for. Those people don't play out there, baby. They were getting it in. More than 3 hours into Saturday's march, a segment of protesters broke off and began confronting those riot officers. A Milan police official said images of the Italian media showed hooded and mask-wearing demonstrators deploying fireworks, throwing objects in the direction of the police. So the protest also came as the government of the Prime Minister's Giorgia Meloni on Thursday announced the new security measures following a violent attack on a police officer during a left-wing protest in Turin last week. The measures, which have not yet come into force, will grant police a freer hand to intervene in demonstrations, allowing them to preventively detain people for up to 12 hours if they have reasonable grounds to believe that they will disturb the peace. So Riccardo Truppo, a Milan city council member from Meloni's right-wing Brothers of Italy party, said that Saturday's clashes were sparked by fringe groups of protesters who mean to exploit the world's attention on Italy during the games. Benedetta Scuderi, an Italian member of the European Parliament with the Green and Left Alliance, which is AVS abbreviated, who joined the march, said the clashes with the police occurred after most protesters had left. So Scuderi played down the clashes as the product of a very few people, he's claimed. So the point is that these games cost a lot and were not sustainable, she said. So Pitrelli reported from Rome. So that looks like that's pretty much the whole article. But those people out there were not afraid to get down and dirty with these individuals, the ICE, the police. Now they're talking about now they're going to be on higher alert because they know that this could happen. But this shows you right here. Don't mess with the Italians in their city. Do not bring them over there. Call yourself trying to buck up on them because you're about to get your your check that you can't cash. Those people were getting it in. I'm telling you, anybody that was in the way, this is what you were going to be dealt with. Hands down. Them people don't play. I guess the Italian said no. Y'all not like gonna come up